In Requiem for the American Dream, Noam Chomsky masterfully unpacks the intricate ways in which the American socio-political system has been designed, over decades, to serve the interests of a narrow elite, leaving the average citizen increasingly marginalized. Chomsky's insights reveal a profound shift from democratic principles toward a system where wealth and power are concentrated in the hands of a few. It's a wake-up call for anyone willing to confront the structural issues that are eroding the essence of American democracy. The core of Chomsky's thesis is structured around what he terms 10 Principles of Concentration of Wealth and Power, a framework that reveals how democracy has been strategically undermined. Let's break down each of these principles to grasp the depth of Chomsky's argument. 1. Reduce democracy. Chomsky opens with a shocking yet well-substantiated claim: American democracy has been systematically weakened. It's not accidental but intentional, he argues, highlighting how the political system is structured to make it harder for regular people to participate meaningfully. Democracy isn't simply taken for granted. It's gradually restricted by policies favoring the wealthy, ultimately creating a society where political influence correlates directly with wealth. Think of the Supreme Court rulings that equate money with free speech. These are deliberate moves to consolidate power. 2. Shape ideology. The media, academia, and corporate propaganda machine all contribute to shaping the ideologies of everyday Americans. Chomsky points out that if you can influence what people think, you don't have to worry about how they act. Through a carefully controlled media landscape, the wealthy elite perpetuate narratives that endorse individual responsibility while downplaying structural issues. This means people tend to blame themselves for their circumstances rather than questioning a system designed to keep them struggling. 3. Redesign the economy. Over the past few decades, Chomsky argues, the American economy has shifted from a production-based economy to a finance-driven one. In other words, money makes more money, while actual job creation and income equality fall by the wayside. The rise of Wall Street and speculative finance means that the economy now favors investments, stock buybacks, and shareholder value over worker wages and job security. Chomsky points to policies that have encouraged corporate profit at the expense of job stability, creating an economy where the rich get richer. 4. Shift the burden. As corporations gain more power, they also contribute less to society. Taxes that once funded public services now fall disproportionately on the working and middle classes, while tax breaks and loopholes allow corporations to hoard profits offshore. Chomsky observes how this burden shifting not only harms public infrastructure but also erodes trust in government, making it harder for citizens to demand accountability. 5. Attack solidarity. One of the most poignant points Chomsky makes is about the decline of solidarity. By fostering a me-first mentality, the elite effectively dismantle community bonds. Without solidarity, people are less likely to fight for the common good. Chomsky underscores that movements like labor unions once provided a strong counterbalance to corporate power, advocating for fair wages, healthcare, and pensions. Today, as solidarity has been undermined, people are left isolated and unable to rally together to demand change. 6. Run the regulators. Chomsky delves into regulatory capture, where agencies meant to regulate industries are instead controlled by them. The revolving door between corporate America and government ensures that regulations are often crafted to benefit those in power rather than the public. For instance, former lobbyists for major industries hold influential roles in regulatory bodies, effectively allowing corporations to set their own rules. This leads to weakened environmental protections, lenient financial oversight, and a government that essentially runs as an extension of big business. 7. Engineer elections. Money in politics is one of Chomsky's biggest concerns. Elections, he argues, are heavily influenced by corporate donations, which skew representation toward the interests of the elite. Campaign finance reform is stalled, allowing corporations and wealthy individuals to effectively buy politicians who will safeguard their interests. The result? Politicians who are more beholden to their wealthy donors than to their constituents, eroding the very foundation of representative democracy. 8. Keep the rabble in line. Chomsky describes how fear and division are used to keep the working class from uniting against the elite. Racism, xenophobia, and cultural divisions are not just societal issues, they are tools for control. By creating an us versus them mentality, those in power keep the rabble distracted from the root causes of their problems, ensuring that they don't organize for systemic change. This tactic prevents a united front that could challenge the status quo, keeping people divided and distracted. 9. Manufacture consent. Expanding on his earlier work, Manufacturing Consent, Chomsky shows how media manipulation creates passive, uninformed citizens. Corporate media outlets carefully craft narratives that align with elite interests, framing issues in ways that discourage critical thinking and active resistance. The objective is to create a sense of complacency, where the public accepts the status quo because they're either unaware of alternatives or conditioned to believe those alternatives are unrealistic. 10. Marginalize the population. In a system rigged for the elite, Chomsky argues, the general public becomes increasingly irrelevant. Political and economic decisions are made in boardrooms and exclusive gatherings, far removed from public scrutiny. The needs of the average American are marginalized as government agencies and corporations cater to the wealthy. This principle is the culmination of the previous 9. By concentrating wealth and power, the elite reduce the influence of the people, effectively hollowing out democracy. Requiem for the American Dream is a wake-up call. Chomsky not only diagnoses the problems plaguing American democracy but also offers an urgent reminder of the power dynamics at play. The title itself is telling. This is a requiem, a funeral dirge for an American dream that may no longer be attainable for most citizens. Chomsky's message is both unsettling and galvanizing. He warns that if these trends continue, democracy may be lost, replaced by an oligarchic system serving only the ultra-wealthy. However, his book is also a rallying cry, urging individuals to reclaim agency and fight for a more equitable system. By understanding the mechanisms Chomsky outlines, readers are equipped to challenge the status quo, armed with the awareness that change is not only necessary but possible. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to our channel to support us.